Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing something slightly different to what we have been doing. We are going to be looking at game stuff still, of course, and we are going to still be looking at MMO stuff, but instead of looking at MMO gameplay, we're going to be focusing today more on the soundtracks of the games, which is something I've actually really wanted to do for a long time. One of my favorite things in games and RPGs is listening to the music and the score of it, and I want to do some reactions and I suppose diving into some video game music. So we are going to be looking at some MMO stuff first. In a video that I think I previously posted, hopefully it should go out before this one, where I look at Josh Strife Hayes' Guild Wars 1 video. I speak about he speaks briefly about the soundtracks and the scores. So if there's any tracks from those games in Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2, please leave those in the comments because I would like to have a look at those. And we could possibly do videos of those on this channel. But today we are going to be looking at a song from Final Fantasy XIV, and it is essentially the origin song, and that is Answers from A Realm Reborn. Now, it's not the first time I've heard this song, of course, because I've played through the entirety of the game up to Endwalker. So obviously I have heard this before, so this is not going to be an initial reaction, I suppose. I'm not sure how these videos are going to work because this is a 7-minute song, and usually when I look at trailers, I let the trailer play all the way through, and then we go back afterwards. So I'm not sure if I want to leave this playing for the entirety of 7 minutes and then try and go back and remember stuff. So I might have to do pausing it, but we will figure it out as we go, and as we do more of these videos, we will get better at it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some fantastic music producer. I'm not, although I do play music. I'm not plugging music, by the way. This is not me doing that. I'm just saying I do play guitar. I do sing, and I have trained in these art forms. Formally trained in these art forms. So I do know a bit about about music, so hopefully I could give us some insight, and also of course we could look into the interpretations of how this music is used to enhance and deliver the story of FF14. Anyway, now we've gone through that preamble, that 2.5-minute preamble, we can finally get into the song. So I will probably pause throughout, as this is a long song, but I'll try and leave it playing as much as I can before pausing it, because I know people like to enjoy listening to it. Alright, so let's listen then to Answers. I'll link the video. This is not an official Final Fantasy XIV video. So I believe this is from... Who's this from? Don't play. A YouTube channel called Sobrax. So I'll link the original video in the description below if you want to check out this lyric video. I believe it's fan-made. Anyway, so let's give this a listen, and let's see what we can pull from it. No, I mean, I'm not gonna say any spoilers for FF14, because there will be for this song in particular. If I was to say, there would be spoilers, but there won't be any spoilers for Endwalker or anything in terms of the story. Okay, so let's give this a go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Susan Calloway. Is it choir? Hold on 1 second. I'm already going back to the choir. Okay, so the choir is... Because I know the song's in English, but the choirs are Japanese people, I assume. Right, I'm going to pause it here. In a way to open a song, And this is like the main song that introduces us to A Realm Reborn, which is after the events of, or during, I suppose, the events of the Calamity that brought this game from the original Final Fantasy XIV into A Realm Reborn. Why? I guess you ask yourself, why have they performed the song in such a way? Why have they chosen a choir of baritone men? Why have they allowed? Like, if we listen to it, there's an awful. It's very slowly performed, obviously intentionally. There's a lot of reverb, and I think that's obviously to make it seem ancient. The vocals and the performance for this to seem older. For it, you would expect to hear a sound like this in perhaps like some monasteries, or places like that. And I think that using the deeper voices of the male register for what they've chosen is more of a representative that the people, or these words are being delivered from, people, from man, if you like. This is mortal words, at least is how I am interpreting it at this point in time. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And then instantly, after we have that very slow, sluggish, I don't mean sluggish in a bad way, by the way, very masculine performance of the a cappella choir, it fades into this, I guess, a lute or something like that. It was just and it was very high up the neck. The notes that they're playing, it's a massive contrast to what we've just heard originally. It's very much of a fantasy sound, like a lute or something like that. And then we go into this female voice, which is very much higher. Which what does a female voice give us? It gives us like, it's particularly a high one. Perhaps I don't know if they're soprano or not, but perhaps if they are a soprano, it gives us like angelic vibes, godlike, and I mean, we know this is the voice of Heidelin, so that's all obviously done very much intentionally. So I'll go back and we'll listen to it a bit more. To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant, to all of my children, to whom death hath passed his judgment, the soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter. Look to those who walked before, to lead those who walk after. Oh, it's very interesting to listen to these lyrics after you've played the whole game. I don't know, there's something about that performance, within the acting of the performance, that there's like a pain of guilt or something in her voice. It's like words of encouragement, but that, from what I'm hearing, is that she, or Heidelin, is empathizing with the pain of and the suffering of the people who are currently, battling in this fight. Let's keep going. Shining is the land's light of justice, ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free, believe. The land
So believe.
That's the sound. I can't specifically, but it's like. How can I describe that? Hands alive, so believe. It's something like that you hear a lot in musical theatre, which is like when it kind of brings it down from like high swooping legato vocals. It's like motivating. It grounds it. It's probably going to kick off soon, and I think it does. But that's kind of what that vocal is preparing us for. It does kick off, yeah. I mean, I'm really trying to listen to the layers in this, and obviously I was listening to what I think is Heidelin's voice, who's doing the bracket bits. I can't see where I'm pointing. Uh, simply saying them, but obviously this is extremely grand into what we had before and where the song started, where it started very low and then it became very light, and now it's become massive. It's become operatic. I mean, it is being sung by an operatic choir, I suppose. But it's important, I suppose, to kind of listen to the undertones of what's happening underneath. If you listen, you can hear that there's an organ under it that's playing quite, I don't want to say frantically, but it's playing a lot of notes, pushing the track a lot, and that's an organ sound is very akin to what we experience and expect in Heaven's Ward. Obviously, this is previous to Heaven's Ward, so this is very different. But that's, I guess, the under of the operatic voice mixing with the I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. Just what I'm noticing, really. The operatic vocals topped with the organ underneath it, and obviously there's all the brass section and percussion section as well. Of course. I guess. Sorry to pause so soon. It's, as I said at the start, it sounds like, particularly with the vocal edition, not the vocal edition, with the musical edition of an organ, it sounds like something that you would hear in a cathedral. It sounds like why can't I think of it? Hunchback of Notre Dame or something. Like, it's massive. And I guess that's the point, where you start with these kind of low male voices that are kind of like monks. Then you move across into this high soprano type angel / godlike voice, and now we're here, and this is the representation of, I suppose, of the powers of the universe. I mean, you could look at it like that if you want to. I don't know. I've got to pause it again. I didn't remember the guitar. Like, you can see there's obviously now a far more aggressive attack because the song has been lifted up by the operatic section of it. Now that's the female voice has to attack this harder. And appear more aggressively, and you can hear, if I can go back to, let's go back to where she sang before. Let's just listen to this line. Obviously, the attack is a lot lighter and there's a lot more air in the voice. But listen to how the vowels are done. Let me go back a bit more. Very open and very smooth. And then if we're going to go back to where we were, which I think is around here. And the lie is widened, obviously, because it's high and you need space to sing. But this sounds like heavier metal vocal performance. It's the tone of it would be. I'm trying to think of. I can't think of anyone, but I'm sure you know what I mean. That this is what you expect a female voice to do over a heavy metal track. Or a metal type of track. Going back to metal or rock, having electric guitar accompanying an orchestral track is something that's very Japanese, and it's something that I absolutely love. I don't know. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's specifically Japanese, but it happens a lot where in Japanese like games and tracks and stuff like this, where they'll have an orchestral piece and then it'll move into more like a lot of heavy guitar. And as someone who loves guitar, I'm not complaining at all, and I think it accompanies the song very, very well. And kind of, I know, modernizes it slightly, I suppose, but we'll carry on. We'll carry on. Sorry, I can't. This is just tough to talk about, I'm afraid. Our thoughts. That is the most metal vocal performance or hard rock or whatever that you'll hear. Classic. You can hear the technique in how that is sung, is the support, how open the vocal is. There's no, I mean, obviously this is recorded in a studio, so you wouldn't really hear these things anyway. But no strain. Like the technique you can hear is fantastic. No, I'll carry on. All right, before we go into this, which I'll try and let the last bit play. Listen to that vocal again. And before, early in the song, I said that it sounds like Heidelin has a pang of guilt, because this, I think, yeah, it's being sung by Heidelin. Like, that's obviously a huge note that she just sang, but it's sang in a rock style which is more aggressive. Now they could have opted to keep it angelic and had where she sings cries quite wide, could have tightened the vowel up and had it more operatic, but they chose not to do that. Why? Well, it sounds far more desperate this way. It sounds far more emotional this way. It sounds like that the character who's singing it is far more affected by whatever's going on by this. These small choices add up to the entire like story that the song is telling us. So I'm going to head it back a little bit, and then I'll try and let the rest of it play.
Trust unto tomorrow. In one fleeting moment from the land of life glow. Yet in one fleeting moment for a new gift doth grow. In the same thou must live, die, and know.
If only you knew what that meant. If you've not played the game, if only you knew. Alright, I want to go back before we finish this video and listen to some of that again. Hold on. So one thing that I want to point out is how the song is structured. So you have the start of the song, which is somewhere. I can't really see my mouse on the screen. Can you? There. Which is the baritone bass men singing chorally, lots of reverb and a cappella. This is what I interpret to be kind of like men, as in the human race, I suppose, a man. And then you move over across, it obviously gets a lot lighter. You're introducing the character of Heidelin. It's very angelic. You have the very light notes. And then that obviously builds into the operatic bit where everything is kicking off and the calamity has begun. And, you know, it's absolutely huge. And then you add the rock little bit in, which is kind of like, I suppose, Heidelin's experience from this event, I guess. You can look at that, and then you go into the next section after that, which is what this is, which is basically where you add all of that together, and you have all of that happening. So you have the male choir singing, you have the operatic choir singing, you have Heidelin singing, and you have all the guitars, and you have everything come together at once. So that's kind of where this track is trying to sort of slowly build into this epic finale, which it does incredibly well.
Thy life is a riddle to bear rapture and sorrow, to listen, to suffer, to entrust unto tomorrow. In one fleeting moment from the land of life glow. Yet in one fleeting moment for a new
yeah, so this is, I thought it was. So if you look at lyrically, like, it's a cappella, but it's Heidelin singling. Fucking hell. It's Heidelin. It's Heidelin singing with the male choir. It's God and man together because this is kind of like the aftermath of the calamity. And this is, for new it doth grow, new life comes, and you must live, die. No, one fleeting moment, everything can be wiped away. So I guess I mean I've kind of dived in. I mean into this. Jesus Christ, this is a long video for a 7-minute song. But I guess what I'll say my opinion of it, and let me. This song is essentially what introduces you into Final Fantasy XIV as it is now. I think this is phenomenal. Like, in terms of how it's done, performed, and structured, I think Susan Calloway does an incredible job. What a vocalist as well. This is an incredibly hard song to sing. Incredibly hard song to sing. It's very dynamic in what she had to do. And she does it extremely well. This is the most perfect, epic Final Fantasy introduction song ever. Like, it's phenomenal. This song is brilliant in every single way. And I can't, like, when you, this is like you log into the game for the first time and you watch that happen and you're like, Jesus Christ, what am I got myself in for? What has happened? I need to know more. I'm going to look at a lot of Final Fantasy music and look if there's any recommendations you want to put into the comments. Please do. I really enjoyed this video, actually. I was quite unsure about doing this type of stuff, but I do really like it. So I would like to carry on. And if you like it as well, that'd be great. But obviously, if you don't, you can tell me as well. That's fine too. But it's going to be a little bit more interesting in the future when I'm looking at songs that I've never heard before. So I have heard this song before, so it's not like I can't really say that I'm surprised by anything or I didn't expect something to happen because I have heard the song before. So hopefully in the next ones that we do, recommend me songs and we'll have a look at them. But answers, the theme of Final Fantasy XIV at Realm Reborn is one of the top themes in RPGs and MMOs ever, and I think it is one of the most epic and grand examples of music that can lead you into a game. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? What more can I say? So anyway, I'm gonna, because this video gone way longer than I expected it to, so I will stop it there. So if you did enjoy this, please like this video and please do subscribe as well. And as I said, please recommend other video game songs. It has to be video game songs because of copyright. Please do that in the comments below, and we will have a little deep dive into those. But a brilliant song, and I think it's a perfect way for us to start these types of videos. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.